brings back memories of some very, very painful times in my marriage, but I have moved on from that.
America, Melinda Gates just did something pretty extraordinary. She sat down for an interview and finally spoke about the Jeffrey and Bill Gates situation. And I gotta tell you, this woman is saying everything without saying everything.
And I am so happy to be away from all the muck.
Listen to that word choice, the muck. She's telling you her billionaire ex-husband was allegedly involved in something so disgusting, so morally reprehensible that she had to take her $76 billion and run.
You know, I never went to the island. I never met any women. Although the time was a mistake, it had nothing to do with that kind of behavior.
But his own ex-wife told you she had to escape the muck. So who's lying here? What is up, guys? Tyson DeLaCruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. We're breaking down what Melinda and Bill Gates are saying on interviews because the holes in these stories are deeper and wider than some Swiss cheese. Let me walk you through what Melinda Gates said on an NPR interview because every single word here, at least in my opinion, is carefully chosen. This woman probably signed an NDA worth tens of billions of dollars, so she can't come out and explicitly say something like, oh, this is what her ex-husband did. But she's saying enough without saying enough, if you know what I'm saying.
Your ex-husband, Bill, is named in the newest tranche of Epstein files. And there are a new alleged details about his past behavior. And I want to give you the opportunity to respond in whatever way you want to.
Now watch how the interview frames this. Your ex-husband, Bill, is named in the newest tranche of the Jeffrey files, where there are new allegations detailing his past behavior. This obviously isn't speculation. This is documented evidence.
No girl should ever be put in the situation that they were put in by Epstein and whatever was going on with all of the various people around him.
Listen to that particular phrasing here. She's not speculating here. She's not guessing. She knows obviously what happened, but can't come out and say it. She's telling you that multiple people, including Bill, were obviously involved. And here's where it gets personal.
I remember being those ages those girls were. I remember my daughters being those ages, right? So, for me, it's personally hard whenever those details come up.
This is a mother who discovered something about her ex-husband that made her think about younger girls and that whole situation. And more than likely, that discovery was pretty devastating. She calls it the darkest part of her marriage.
Brings back memories of some very, very painful times in my marriage, but I have moved on from that. I purposely pushed it away and I moved on.
She purposely pushed it away. She had to mentally force herself to stop thinking about what she discovered. That, my friends, is not language somebody dealing with infidelity. That is language of somebody who discovered something evil here. Now let's talk about Bill Gates's version of these particular events.
Yeah, I met Jeffrey in 2011. So over a period of 3 years, I had a number of dinners with him. The focus was always, he knew a lot of very rich people, and he was saying he could get them to give money to global health.
Hold up. You are Bill Gates. You are one of the richest, most connected people on the planet. You're telling me, you're telling everybody else that you needed Jeffrey, a convicted offender, to introduce you to rich people who would donate to global health? Make it make sense to me. He has direct access to a lot of wealthy people on earth. He co-founded Microsoft. He's been a billionaire since 1986. You're friends with Warren Buffett, and you need a convicted PDF to make introductions for you? Come on, bro.
You know, in retrospect, that was a dead end, and I've said many times, but I'll say again, I was foolish to spend time with him.
A dead end that lasted 3 years. You met him multiple times over 3 years before you realized that it wasn't working. You're supposed to be one of the smartest businessmen in the world, but it took you 3 years to figure out that this convicted PDF offender wasn't a good fundraising partner. Come on. And notice what he's not saying. He's not explaining what they actually discussed. He's not providing details about these quote unquote dinners. He's just giving you the vaguest possible explanation in hopes that you don't ask a follow-up question.
You know, I never went to the island. I never met any women. And so, you know, the more that comes out, the more clear it'll be that although the time was a mistake, it had nothing to do with that kind of behavior.
I never went to the island. I never met any women. Okay, Bill, but the flight logs show that you flew on Jeffrey's plane multiple times. While you claim that you never went to the island, you definitely went to Jeffrey's Manhattan townhouse and his New Mexico ranch. So you're technically telling the truth about the island while lying by omission about everything else. And I never met any women. That is an interesting way to phrase it. Not I never met any of Jeffrey's victims, not I was never in any inappropriate situations, just I never met any women. That is lawyer speak, guys. That is a carefully crafted non-denial denial. Now let's talk about the most disturbing allegation.
The emails in the files suggest that Bill Gates had additional affairs and that he tried to get medication to treat a sexually transmitted infection and that he was going to give you the medicine without you knowing. His representative has said all of this is false.
Listen to what's being alleged here. Bill Gates had multiple affairs. He got an STD, he tried to get medication, and he was planning to give Melinda the medication without telling her. If true, that is not just infidelity. That is potentially criminal. Giving someone medication without their knowing is obviously illegal. Exposing someone to an STD without telling them is illegal in many states. This obviously isn't just about being a bad husband. This is about potentially committing crimes against your own wife. Now watch how Melinda responds.
Sad. Just unbelievable sadness. Unbelievable sadness, right? And again, I'm able to take my own sadness and look at those young girls and say, my God, how did that happen to those girls?
She doesn't say that's ridiculous. She doesn't say that never happened. She says sad. Then immediately pivots to talking about young girls who were victimized by Jeffrey. That's not the response of somebody hearing false allegations. That's the response of somebody who knows the truth but can't legally say it.
I had to leave my marriage. I wanted to leave my marriage. I had to leave I felt I needed to eventually leave the foundations.
I had to leave everything, not just my marriage, the foundation as well. The foundation that they built together for over decades. That is how bad it got. She couldn't even stay associated with joint philanthropy work because of what she discovered from Bill. Let's go back to Bill's claims that he only had dinners with Jeffrey to discuss quote unquote philanthropy. This story falls short under the slightest scrutiny.
Apparently, Jeffrey wrote an email to himself. That email was never sent. The email is false.
This is Bill's defense, that Jeffrey wrote false emails to himself that was obviously, allegedly never sent. Why would Jeffrey write lies in his own private emails? What's the logic here? He's sitting at his computer thinking about, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write some false information about Bill Gates in an email to myself that I'll never send. How fun. Make it make sense, Bill. Emails to yourself are usually notes and reminders. If Jeffrey was documenting something about Bill Gates in his private emails, that's because obviously it happened. Allegedly. And here's what really exposed the lie. Bill claims these meetings were about philanthropy and fundraising. But Bill Gates didn't need Jeffrey to find donors. Bill Gates is a donor. He's got a foundation worth tens of billions of dollars. He's literally the richest philanthropist on earth. You don't need a convicted PDF offender to introduce you to other rich people when you're already the most connected philanthropist in the world. That excuse is insulting to anybody with a functioning brain.
I'm in a really unexpected, beautiful place in my life. So whatever questions remain there of what I can't even begin to know all of it, those questions are for those people and for even my ex-husband.
She's making it crystal clear. Whatever Bill did, she wasn't part of it. She didn't know about it. And she got out as soon as she found out enough.
And I am so happy to be away from all the muck that it was there.
The muck. There's that word. She's not saying misunderstanding. She's not saying mistake. She's saying muck, dirt, filth, corruption. Here's what Melinda did. She discovered Bill and Jeffrey's connection. She waited for the right time. She filed for divorce in about 2021. She got a massive settlement estimated at $76 billion. She left the foundation, stayed quiet initially, and now she's speaking out carefully, making sure that everybody knows she's obviously separate from Bill. She's protecting herself. She got the money. She got the freedom. And now she's doing a media tour to make sure that everybody knows that she wasn't associated with Bill during that particular time. This is smart. It's strategic. And that tells you she knows exactly how bad it is. America, Bill Gates is presumably lying about his relationship with Jeffrey. His story obviously doesn't make sense. And his own ex-wife is basically telling you that he's lying without explicitly saying that he is. Melinda is calling it the darkest part of her marriage. She says she had to leave because of the muck. She's thinking about the young girls being exploited when she thinks about Jeffrey, and she's so happy to get away from Bill now. Meanwhile, Bill claims it was just dinners about philanthropy with a convicted PDF over 3 years. He says he's never went to the island while conveniently leaving out the Manhattan townhouse and the New Mexico ranch. Who do you believe? The woman who gave up everything, her marriage, her foundation, her public image to get away from the muck, or the billionaire who spent 3 years meeting with a convicted PDF and claims it was all about fundraising? She's telling you as much as she can legally without violating any NDA she might have signed. And what she is saying, I think, is pretty damning enough. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.